Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where today we will be taking a look at the Era 3 Premium Heavy, the Stridsvagn 122A. Now I will timestamp the time I actually start talking about the tank in the little play bar at the bottom, because before I talk about the tank, I want to talk about this new map. This is Safe Haven. This is a port from PC, but I really like it. It's a new map to console. It's not a new map to the World of Tanks game series. That aside though, I really like this map. I like the vertical topography that the southern end of the map has, the K and the J line. You know, to get there you've got to work your way up this hill. I like that. I like that we've got these very independent areas that are all playable. This map looks, this map looks like it's 95% playable, and I really like that. You've got the verticality of the southern end of the map, and then you've got the more industrial building, I forget the factory map. It's got a more factory feel to the northern end of the map, and I like that variation. I really like that. So yeah, good job Wargaming for bringing this one in the way that it's brought in. I really like it. Okay, let's now talk about the Stridsvagn 122A. It is essentially a variation of the Leopard 2A5. That means it's a very good tank, and if you like the Leopard 2A5, then you are going to enjoy the Stridsvagn 122A. And given that the 122A can be yours for as little as 2,000 gold with the standard season pass, I mean, that's an absolute steal. I don't see any reason personally to not get this tank. This tank is very good, and it is very cheap. So get one. Absolutely recommend that you guys get one. Alright, let's take a look at the stats of the 122A and compare it directly to the Leopard 2A5. The 122A has 643mm of pen on standard rounds, 697mm of pen on gold, and 150mm on secondary high explosive. The Leo 2A5 has 590 on standard rounds, 710 on gold, that's very good, and 150mm on secondary. From an alpha point of view, both tanks have exactly the same alpha across all three rounds. Standard and gold will do an average of 510, and secondary high explosive will do 640. So from a gun point of view, the only difference is that the standard pen on the 122A is higher than the 2A5, but the gold pen on the 2A5 is higher than the gold pen on the 122A. And in my opinion, that, from what I've observed with this game, that is just classic wargaming balancing. That is wargaming balancing these tanks, and I can't fault them for that. I really can't. I think they've done a very good job balancing the guns on these tanks. Both the 2A5 and the 122A have 4,100 hit points. The 122A will max out at 68 kilometers an hour, while the 2A5 will max out at 72, so it's slower, but not that much slower. Both the 122A and the 2A5 have a view range of 535 meters, and finally, the 122A has 444 meters of still concealment, and 467 meters of moving concealment, while the 2A5 has 477 and 454 meters respectively. So, those are the high level stats. And for me, the 122A is an ever so slightly worse version of the 2A5. It is slightly slower, its reload is 0.2 seconds slower, the hull traverse is 2 degrees per second slower, and the DPM is just ever so slightly lower. But what balances this tank though is its economy stats. So the 122 has a 60% silver boost, 15% crew XP boost, 10% tank XP boost, and a 3% free XP boost. That 60% silver boost is what balances this tank. That's the one stat that Wargaming have introduced to say, right, Yes, it's slightly worse in almost every other area, but it's going to earn more silver, and that's how we balance this thing out. And honestly, that is the traditional approach for premiums in World of Tanks. That's how they always were meant to be and how they were introduced originally into this game. Premiums were worse versions of tech tree tanks, but they came with special stats. It was a crew trainer, it was an XP earner, or it was a silver earner. That was always how premiums were meant to be, was how they started, and that was the trend that Wargaming followed for a bit. And I really, really like the fact that this tank is going back to those roots. I really, really like that. I think they've done a very good job with this, and this tank is based on a tank that is already very well balanced in the game. The Leopard 2A5 is a very good tank. It's not overpowered, it's not broken, it is very, very well balanced, and this thing feels like a Leopard 2A5. The frontal armor is solid, but it does turn like a battleship, and I snapped a shot there which disappeared. I am noticing that the gun can be a little trolly at times. Sometimes the shots go a little bit awry, but I mean, I won't fault the tank for that. So the frontal armor of this thing is very, very good, but it turns like a battleship, and that right there is the reason why I have my setup like this. I have the traction system equipment because it boosts the hull traverse, and this thing really, really needs it. If you rewind all the way to the start of that previous game, you'll see me wiggle left and right at the very, very start of the game. That was me just testing, how does this thing turn, how does this thing feel in the turns? And trust me, it's it's sluggish. It turns like a battleship, and that is why I've put the traction system equipment on, because this thing really does need a helping hand when it comes to turning. So if you know the Leopard 2A5, then I would say you know exactly what you're getting yourself into when it comes to this premium. You know exactly what you're going to get with this. But if you're new to the game, or you're just grinding your way through the German tech tree, then this is going to be a very good introduction for the Leopard 2A5 for you, because this is, you know, near as makes not a whole lot of difference. This is a Leopard 2A5. If you want to play well in this thing, don't drive out sideways like that person did. The side and rear are your weak points. The frontal armor on this thing is incredibly good. You want to be fighting nose first with this thing. That's where you'll be the strongest. That's where you'll be the safest. If you do that, then you will not have much trouble in this thing at all. You really won't. This thing will not let you down. And I think this guy pushed forward, and well, he's on his own, getting himself into a bit of a pickle with the rocks here. But yeah, I am punishing him. Bounce a shot from the front there. The armor is very, very good from the front, but this guy has been caught exactly where you don't want to be. This is a demonstration of, you know, the sides and rear, it won't protect you. They just will not protect you. So there you go. There's a demonstration of what can happen when the sides and rear are exposed. But in summary, this thing is well worth getting. Absolutely worth getting, because it can be yours for as little as 2,000 gold, and that is an absolute steal. It really is an absolute steal. I highly recommend that you guys grab one of these, because it's just a good tank, and it's got a good silver bonus on it. It's got 60% silver boost, and that is, well, it's just very, very good. I can't really fault this tank. It's well balanced, it's very cheap, and in my opinion, you should get one. Definitely you should get one. Okay folks, that's all I've got for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.